Hello, good afternoon. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining. We're still expecting more people. So while we're doing that, I would like to play a short video for us. Please give me a few seconds, or about a minute, to share with you my screen. All right, can anyone see my screen? Can anyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So please enjoy the video. Please, if you can't hear, let me know.
When I think about the rise of AI, I'm reminded by the rise of literacy. A few hundred years ago, many people in society thought that maybe not everyone needed to be able to read and write. Back then, many people were attending fields or herding sheep, so maybe there was less need for written communication. And all that was needed was for the high priests and priestesses and monks to be able to read the holy book. And the rest of us could just go to the temple or church or the holy building and sit and listen to the high priests and priestesses read to us. Fortunately, we've since figured out that we can build a much richer society if lots of people can read and write. Today, AI is in the hands of the high priests and priestesses. These are the highly skilled AI engineers, many of whom work in the big tech companies. And most people have access only to the AI that they build for them. I think that we can build a much richer society if we can enable everyone to help to write the future. But why is AI largely concentrated in the big tech companies? Because many of these AI projects have been expensive to build. They may require dozens of highly skilled engineers, and it may cost millions or tens of millions of dollars to build an AI system. And the large tech companies, particularly the ones with hundreds of millions or even billions of users, have been better than anyone else at making these investments pay off, because for them, a one-size-fits-all AI system, such as one that improves web search or that recommends better products for online shopping, can be applied to this very large numbers of users to generate a massive amount of
All right, good afternoon. So I believe we all actually came from the video we watched just now, and that is what AI can actually do for your business. And there is still more to tap into. There's still more that is going to come out in recent or years to come where AI is concerned. And we just want to, basically what we're going to be doing this meeting is to make you understand AI can actually help your business. And I'm actually glad we're here, like I said earlier today. And we have two speakers that will be speaking to us. We have Miss Olivia, a product manager in Bincom Global, and we also have our CTO, Mr. Bade, that will be speaking to us. So without wasting much of our time, I would like to welcome Miss Olivia Wami to speak to us on how GenAI can actually improve productivity in our business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that introduction, Olawale. And good day, everyone. So depending on where you're joining us from, so good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So firstly, I just want to say a huge thank you to the organizers for having me. And really, it's just always exciting to share my knowledge. And I'm hoping you would actually take home a lot of exciting tips and that can actually help you at the end of the day. Like was said, my name is Olivia Wami, and I am a product manager with Bincom Global UK. So my presentation today is really just going to be centered around, leveraging artificial intelligence for business growth. But specifically, we would actually explore how generative AI or Gen AI, which is a cutting-edge branch of AI, how it actually plays an important role in driving organizational success. So I'm just going to quickly share what I have for us today, and then we can just kickstart. Okay, just to confirm that everyone can hear me and you can also see my screen.
Yes, I can hear you and I can see your screen.
All right. So really, thank you for that. So we are actually entering, or we are already in the period of generational change in artificial intelligence. So like we know, some of us, it's like a new concept for most of us, especially when we actually heard about ChatGPT. It was like, where did this come from and all of that? But the truth is, this has always just been there, and a lot of persons have not really been aware of it. Now, as you can see on my screen, this is actually a journey of generative AI. You can see that it has started far back as almost 20 years ago, from near perfection to conventional, large language foundational models. And the interesting thing is AI is actually disrupting a lot of industries. So you not just tech, but healthcare, and like you actually saw in the video as well, finance, manufacturing, retail, transportation as well. So we're just really just going to give you this. It's going to be really informative. Some of these things you are already aware of them. Some of them you may not be aware of them. But the important thing is, at the end of the day, you actually have something that would actually help you grow your business. So first of all, Gen AI, as we know, it is also called generative AI. It's just really a subset of artificial intelligence, and it stands out by its focus on creating new data or contents, rather than just analyzing or interpreting existing information. So Gen AI specializes in generating novel content autonomously, right? So it's like you're just building something out of nothing, you're building something out of something already in existence. So a more detailed breakdown of how AI or generative AI differs from traditional AI is really creation, and analysis. So with traditional AI systems, they are primarily designed for task analysis and pattern recognition. But for generative AI, it's actually geared towards creative content generation. So you can produce entirely new data, things like text, music, images, or even codes, based on patterns and knowledge it has acquired from the data it was trained on. That's something that you actually need to know. That's that statement. Whatever is actually given back to you is just based on what it has been trained to do already. So looking at some of the applications of generative AI, if we're saying yes, this is important, it's making a lot of headway, it has independent capacity to create data and content. There's a lot of possibilities that it's opening up for businesses, for creative professionals. Really, how do the application come in? Now, there are a lot of applications, like you can see on my screen. We have content creation for marketing. For generative AI, it can be used to automate the creation of content for marketing purposes. So often you see, SMEs being having limited resources for content creation and marketing, and they can actually use, Gen AI to maintain a consistent online presence. For instance, it can actually generate social media posts for, a bakery, can create product description for even an online, boutique. So it's be a way for you to streamline your process, cut down on time, repetitive tasks as well. So it just makes life easy for a lot of purposes. Then you have data augmentation for machine learning. Now, SMEs may not actually have access to vast database. So generative AI can assist in improving the accuracy and performance of their machine learning model. An instance I can give you is a small e-commerce company can actually use Gen AI to generate additional customer transaction data to enhance their recommendation system. When you actually go on a lot of e-commerce sites, you see things like recommendation, you can buy similar items you can buy together with whatever you're looking at currently, on that website or on that application. So generative AI can actually help to enhance that recommendation system. And then you have creative design, as we all know, right? Let's say SM is really in creative industries, such as fashion, graphic design, or even interior design can actually benefit from generative AI, because Gen AI can generate creative content, things like artwork, product design, logos, your architectural design, just to make sure that it is appealing and it is also unique. So you can have a local clothing brand can actually use Gen AI to create clothing designs and patterns. I know some of these informations were actually shared on the video we previously watched. And then you have natural language processing, which is where really chatbots comes in, right? So with Gen AI powered chatbots, SMEs can now provide 24 hours customer support without the need for a large team. So you're looking at just deploying a chat box to assist your customers. It may be finding books or answering common questions or common queries. And sometimes you might actually come on an application and you come on a website and you see a pop-up immediately. So if you actually start a conversation on that small box you see on the side of your screen, you may not actually be talking to a person at that time. You actually are talking to the system that's like a Gen AI powered chatbot to actually communicate or really respond to any query respond to any question that you may have. But and other times you see that when it gets to one point, you are actually being referred to someone who can now continue the conversation with you. And then we have email marketing personalization. So really businesses can use GenAI to boost the effectiveness of their email marketing efforts. What they can do is just have like a personalized email. So let's say fitness studio can have like personalized workout recommendations sent to their customers, and really who drafts this recommendation or who sends this recommendation, it's still generative AI, really, because what it's going to do, it's going to analyze your customer data and just really just generate something that would be appealing to that person. So that's why it's really called personalized email marketing. And then lastly is financial analysis and reporting. Now, you would understand from this presentation, we're actually going to cover as much sectors as possible, because we understand that businesses range from one industry to another. So you may hear something that is specifically for your business or something that isn't for your business, but the important thing is it's still going to be relevant to you at the end of the day. So businesses often face like resource constraints when it comes to financial analysis. Let's say a small manufacturing company can actually use generative AI to automate its financial reporting and budget analysis. That's because Gen AI can actually assist in generating financial reports. It can assist in data analysis, summary, in forecasting, and it can quickly process and analyze your financial data to actually provide insight, really just saving you time, right? So please. So you're going to be seeing some tips on the screen. Okay, that tip is for you. So do it to actually read them. I might not actually read them out. Okay, so that's just something for you, really. So just looking at the benefits of generative AI, yes, it's important, and yes, it can help us, but really, how can it help us? So we're just going to look at some of the ways Gen AI can actually help our businesses. One of those ways are through improved efficiency through automation, right? I would first of all give us an example of what this means. Now, a customer support chat box that is powered by generative AI can handle frequently asked questions and routine inquiries, which would now help to free up your human agent to focus on more complex issues, just like I previously explained. So if you feel, well, we have too much teams and all of that, well, you can just really automate most of those processes you have already in place. And according to McKinsey's report, companies that have actually adopted automation and AI technologies have experienced productivity improvements of up to 30%. And generative AI is also accountable to that significant contribution to businesses' productivity boost. And then we have cost saving through manual labor. So when you automate tasks that would otherwise require manual labor, generative AI can actually lead to cost saving. So let's say an e-commerce business can employ generative AI to automate product categorization and also tagging in its online store. So you can see that just doing all of these things by hand or one at a time, generative AI can actually help you save time, save costs, and also reduce manual labor, right? And another benefit is enhanced decision making with data-driven insights. I know I mentioned something about getting insights and just really having financial reports and all of that. So we have generative AI. It can actually process vast amounts of data quickly, right? A way it can do that is for an e-commerce platform leveraging generative AI for personalized product recommendation. It has actually been reported that they have increased revenue. let's say, for instance, Amazon. If you have used Amazon before, you'll find out that whenever you go on a product page and you scroll down, you see things like product recommendation, what other customers bought with these products, and all of that. Now, it has actually been recorded that Amazon has actually increased its sale because of that AI, the AI algorithm that has been attached to the platform. Right. So it's just really one of the ways that it can just help us with decision making and also with data-driven insight. So someone coming to your store doesn't have to, look at the first product. Maybe I want to get a band kit, and the first thing I look at are drum sets, but I also want like strings and all of that. I can just easily scroll down to the same page and see other items I can get. Sometimes I even see things I don't even need, but that I don't know I need. But by seeing them, I can actually purchase them, which would in turn just increase my sales as well. Then lastly is competitive advantage. Now, this is the most important. We always want to use things that would actually give us competitive edge in the industry. So generative AI actually enables businesses to adapt to changing market dynamics and stay ahead of industry trends. How does it do that? Now, let's say an online news aggregator that uses AI to monitor social media and news sources for trending topics and emerging news stories. Now, when they publish content on these topics, the aggregator gains a competitive edge in delivering fresh and relevant news to its audience. So sometimes you wonder, okay, why is it that this news platform actually knows what is happening? Like, this is just like 5 minutes ago. How come they already, they know about it and all of that? It's actually with generative AI. So you would actually find out that there are things that you may have been noticing, but you don't know where this is coming from, how this is possible. You find out today that it's because of Gen AI. That's why all of those things are possible. So the benefits of really incorporating Gen AI into business operations are very important, right? It improves efficiency, it would reduce costs, it would enhance your decision making, and it would also provide a competitive advantage, right, to you. So with these examples, I would say, I hope it actually helps explain some of the things, some of the ways that generative AI can help our businesses. So looking at its implementation, we just look at some of the ways we can implement Gen AI. Like I mentioned, remember, we'd actually see tips from time to time. Please do where to read these tips. They're actually going to help us understand. It's just a way of summarizing everything that I'm saying today. So one of the ways to implement generative AI is by data preparation and quality assessment. The importance of this is because high quality data forms the foundation of generative AI. So if you have like inaccurate or biased data, it can actually lead to flawed AI models. So the first step in Gen AI implementation really is to just gather and prepare the necessary data. It just involves you collecting relevant data sets, ensuring the data quality, it's clean, it's accurate, and the representative data is important for training Gen AI models effectively. Remember, there needs to be no bias data whatsoever. And the second is choosing the right Gen AI tool or platform. Now, the choice of tools and platform can impact the efficiency and effectiveness of Gen AI implementation. That's very important. So you need to always evaluate options carefully and also ensure they fit into your organization's need. So it's not everything that may be good for person A that will be good for person B. You also have to know what your business objective is, what your goals are, and make sure that whatever tool or platform you're using also fits into those. And then we have training and integration. So proper training is actually the core of Gen AI's functionality, just like every other thing. If you have proper training, it's going to be good to use, it's going to work well and all. So models would need sufficient data and fine-tuning to perform well. So once you have actually selected your Gen AI tool, the next step is just training the AI model. So you're feeding it prepared data into the chosen framework and allowing the model to learn patterns and generate content. So you see that sometimes you're actually using a tool and you're wondering, how did you actually know this? How did you know X? How did you know Y? It's because it's learning. Every single time you use that tool, it's actually learning. And then we have monitoring and continuous improvements, which is the most important when you're using whatever tool, platform, you have a service as well. Now, Gen AI is not a one-time implementation. It requires ongoing management. It requires ongoing improvement. Regular monitoring would actually ensure that the AI remains accurate, it's up to date, and it's aligned with the business goals. So once you've actually integrated Gen AI into your business, into your organization, you need to continuously monitor it. You want to track the AI's performance, ensuring that it still aligns with your objective. If it doesn't, then you need to make adjustments as needed. And lastly, we have strategic approach to implementation. So without a strategic approach, Gen AI implementation can be disjointed and it can fail to deliver meaningful results. So you just want to define clear objectives. You want to set the key performance indicator and then align your AI initiative with with your broader business strategy, right? So once you align AI initiative with strategic goals, with your organization or your business can now maximize the value Gen AI brings to its operation and also maintain ethical and regulatory compliance, which is something we'll actually talk about more. So the most important thing from Gen AI implementation is for it to be successful, it would require a structured approach that not only encompasses data preparation, tool selection or training or integration, or even continuous monitoring, but also strategic alignment with your business goal. That's very, very important. Like every other thing on planet Earth, we have challenges and risks that actually comes with using generative AI. It doesn't necessarily mean it's good. It doesn't necessarily mean it's terrible. It's just some things that we need to know about why we implement or use generative AI. The first is ethical concerns relating to AI generated content. Now, Gen AI can actually create content, we know, and most times it can be realistic that it becomes challenging to distinguish from human-generated content. The reason for that is because it actually raised ethical concerns, especially when Gen AI is used to create misinformation, deepfakes, or content that may lead to that may be harmful or misleading. So what you want to actually do to mitigate this risk really is to just address, ethical concerns. Like you have ethical guidelines for the use of generative AI within your organization or within your business. You also need to promote transparency, right, by clearly indicating when content is generated by, AI. Then we have data privacy and security issues. Really, if you're reading a lot of news, you would have actually found out that data privacy and security has been an ongoing news, right? That's because our data is really important. A lot of things may happen if our data gets leaked and all of that. So Gen AI often require access to substantial amounts of data for training. So it does raise concern about data privacy. But a way we can actually mitigate this is to regularly audit and monitor data access to detect and prevent unauthorized use or breaches. Sometimes you use some generative AI and they'll be like, okay, don't share any personal information, don't share things that are, that are really of privacy to you, because the model is learning and all of that. It's just because they're trying to, mitigate the risk of your data being leaked. And then we have ensuring generative AI aligns with regulatory requirements. So you need to stay informed about industry-specific regulation to actually, mitigate this risk. So we know that certain industry may be subjected to certain regulatory requirements or standard. You need to conduct thorough risk assessments to identify potential regulatory issues. There's really no way around it. You don't need to cut, no shortcuts really. Just make sure you know the risk, mitigate the risk. And then we have bias and fairness in AI generated content. So Gen AI models can, inherit biases present in training data, which is why previously we mentioned whatever data that is fed to the system needs to not be biased. One of the ways we can mitigate this is to regularly audit. We need to also evaluate the Gen AI models for bias using fairness metric. We can also develop guidelines for content creation or content generation that prioritizes fairness and inclusiveness as well. And then lastly, we have accountability and also transparency. So when Gen AI generates content, you are trying to determine accountability for the generated content, right? Because it may lack transparency in how the content is being created. So you can mitigate this really by just clearly communicating the role of AI in content creation to users and also stakeholders. You can also document the processes and the methodologies used in Gen AI models. So once you have addressed these challenges and risks that are associated with Gen AI, right, you also need to be proactive and you also need to be comprehensive in your approach. So not just doing whenever it suits you. No, you don't need to do that. Your business should establish ethical guidelines. They should prioritize data privacy and security. They also need to ensure compliance with regulation, right? They need to mitigate bias. And by doing so, your business can harness the benefits of generative AI while also minimizing potential negative consequences. So if we sit together, you can just send me, just send an emoji on the chat box so I can know that you will still with me. So I'll just give us like 5 seconds to do that. Okay. So we're moving down to the interesting bits right now. Right now, we have some best practices for successfully implementing generative AI or for its adoption. Now, the first is you need to invest in employee training and upskilling. The reason for this is because well-trained employees can leverage generative AI more effectively. They can make informed decisions and then troubleshoot issues. So if you provide them with the necessary knowledge and skills to work effectively with Gen AI tools and platform, it makes life easy for you. It makes it makes you save cash, right? Which is some of the things that we look out for. But it also really just makes sure that you are on the safe side. So you're not breaking any rule. you're complying with your regulations. You also have at the back of your mind that the challenges and risks associated with using GenAI tools and platform are not going to be affected by your business just because you are doing what you need to do, which is really training your employees. Then the second is really establishing clear ethical guidelines for Gen AI use. When you have clear ethical guidelines, right? I know all of us have that ethical guidelines. It actually helps maintain trust with stakeholders. It also prevents misuse of generative AI. And lastly, ensure that AI generated content would align with your organization's value and principles. So you don't want to do something outside of, who you are, what you do, right? It's very, very important. So it will just govern the responsible use of Gen AI within your organization and within your business. And remember, the employees you have trained are aware of this. They know, and they're going to make sure that whatever tool they use, whatever platform they use, also align with your organization's value and principles. And then lastly, we have regularly evaluating and updating Gen AI models. When you have ongoing evaluation and updates, it would ensure that Gen AI remains effective and aligned with your organization's evolving needs. So you see that an application like ChatGPT, there's always regular updates. Maybe they're telling you there's a pop-up at the bottom that says this is from last update from X months, dates, all of that. That's just because they are regularly evaluating. They are always updating their Gen AI models. And that's also why they say don't actually share personal information, because oftentimes than not, they have access to some of the information that you share with with the system. So with all of these things said, now how can Gen AI give my business a competitive edge, especially if I own a business that is 50 to 100 man, right? What are the ways I can actually get competitive edge? One of those ways is by competitive intelligence. What does that really mean? Right? When I said, what is the competitive edge? You're telling me about competitive intelligence. What does that really mean? Now, Gen AI can be employed to analyze vast amounts of market data and competitor information. You can actually use tools like Scrappy to scrape web data, and then have an AI-driven analytics platform that would now process and analyze it to give you a competitive intelligence. So once you're armed with this, your business can now make proactive decisions and also stay ahead of rivals, your rivalry. It's really you knowing what you need to do, having the right tool to do that, and and also making sure that you're not, losing sight of what your business goals are, what your business values are, and also what your principles are. And also we have scalability and flexibility, being flexible as well, excuse me. Now, Gen AI solutions are scalable, right? And as your business grows, generative AI can easily accommodate increased data volumes and customer interaction. So when you use let's say if you want to actually build custom AI models, you can use libraries like PyTorch that allows for scalability and flexibility, and allows you to be flexible in tailoring your needs or whatever you need specifically to your business. Then thirdly, we have personalization and customer engagement. Gen AI-based recommender systems, like those using, let's say, collaborative featuring, right, can actually provide personalized product recommendation and in turn enhancing customer engagement. I actually use Amazon to explain the recommender system, how it works. So this is one of the ways you can still have competitive edge, just like Amazon actually recorded. And then lastly, operational resilience. Now, generative AI-driven chatbots combined with monitoring systems can ensure operational resilience by handling inquiries and threats around the clock. So you don't actually need somebody, 24/7 without fatigue. Generative AI can be that somebody. It's actually not a person anyway. So it can actually handle, customer inquiries, it can monitor cybersecurity threats and maintain operational continuity, even during off hours. But still remember that it has a multitude of advantage, right? It can really just help you reduce costs. It can help you to be efficient. It can help you to make better decisions. But you also need to know how you can leverage this generative AI tool or platform for your business. And now we are just going to discuss some of the tools that we have, right? I know there are ways that my business can grow. There are ways that I can get that competitive edge. There are platforms I can use. There are tools I can use. I'm going to tell you those tools now. Okay, so we have different kind of tools associated with GenAI. We have text generation tools. We have image generation tools, voice and audio generation tools, and also code generation tools. Remember, I said some of these things you've heard about them before. Some of them are going to be new to you, but the most important thing is they are all going to be of value to you today. So the text generation tools often generate human-like text content, which can be useful for content creation, for chatbots, for copywriting. And some of the tools that we are familiar with are things like the ChatGPT-3, there's a 4 now anyway, and we have BERT as well. That's Bing, is it Google or Bing now, that has BERT, right? And also Microsoft actually has its own, text generation tool as well. Therefore, image generation tool, they're actually used to create image. They're also used to modify existing ones and can be applied in creative design, art generation, and also style transfer. And some of the tools that do this is the DALL-E and also StyleGAN. So StyleGA and GAN. Then we have voice and audio generation tools like WaveGAN, like Tacotron, sorry. So these tools produce human-like speech or audio content, and they can be used in voice assistant, text-to-speech system, and audio content generation. So I know that we have on your laptop, you can actually click on, read aloud, and there's a voice reading out to you. So that's like that's really an example of what I'm trying to say for a voice and audio generation tool. Then we have code generation tool, like Codex by GitHub. They are actually tools that generate code or assist in software development tasks. So they can write code snippets, automate code refactoring, or even create entire application. See, that's how smooth generative AI is. Now, at Bincom, we actually help our clients with the right choice of generative AI tools, depending on the specific use cases, depending on the data requirements, and also the desired outcome. And we've actually helped a lot of businesses, in combining multiple platforms or using single tools to just create comprehensive solution and also address their specific operations and also their strategy. So I'm just going to show us how this looks like. Okay, sorry, I actually have something here for you. It's just a brief video. So hopefully it's going to show. Now, I'm sure we are familiar with Canva, right? Now, Canva has an AI that leverages on image recognition and also natural language processing. So as you can see on this video, someone just needs to, type whatever is needed, and it's just text to image, really. Type what you need, it's generated for you, and you can just pick what you want. Sometimes there are a lot of options that comes up, and you just need to pick whatever one you choose and just put in your canvas, or in your canvas, really. Then we have ChatGPT, which is really you just having prompts. What are your prompts? And it generates text for you. So it just makes things very easy. You can ask whatever question you want. It can be brainstorming ideas. It can be ideas for what you want to do. It can be recommendation. It can even be a question, right? You can ask whatever it is, and it would always give you a response. If it doesn't have a response for you, it can actually say that's not in a plain text, but it actually says there's no response, or give me more information so I can help you better. And then we have the Microsoft AI Builder. Sorry. So the Microsoft AI Builder provides pre-built models for common AI tasks. It will not allow users to harness the power of AI without extensive technical expertise. So it can actually include capabilities for AI-based form recognition, object detection, text classification, and prediction as well. So you can actually just use it. You can also integrate it into Microsoft Power Apps and also Power Automate. Yeah. And then lastly, we have the Linodal AI. So this is a tool that enables businesses to leverage machine learning and natural language processing to just gain insights, automate process. It also actually helps with what you can see right now on my screen, right? You just need to, whatever image you need, it can generate for you. There are a lot of specifications you can choose from. It can be art-based, it can be abstract, whatever thing you need, it can actually help you with that. And then we have Google's Docs Smart Compose. Now, Smart Compose is integrated into some of Google Suite. So you actually see it on your Gmail. I think you see what it means, but it utilizes machine learning to just analyze what's being typed and provide suggestions for completing sentences. So it's just a way to help users write more effectively by predicting what they might want to say next. And you don't actually have to go with the suggestion, right? You can decide to ignore the suggestion and just continue writing. So what you can see is, applicable to while you're trying to send an email. So there's a prompt that just say, when you say hello or you say hi or dear, whoever you're sending a message to, the person's name pops up. That's actually what Smart Compose is. And Google has integrated that into Google Docs. Then we have Zoom AI. We're currently on Zoom. And if you actually check on just below your screen, you're going to see something called summary. Now, the Google AI companion is just a way to help summarize Zoom meetings. It would also enhance your presentation skills, help you schedule meetings, alternate chat trends. You can also save a meeting summary. So this is just, it's just some of the ways that generative AI, have been helping, and some of the tools, how they look like, what they do, and all of that. So for you to actually get things like, the summary, you need to, first of all, ask the admin to enable, the summary. This is how it looks like. You need to send a request. And once that request is approved, you get a summary at the end of the meeting. Now we just look at a case study, right? And we're going to be using the OpenAI's GPT 3 or the Chat GPT 3. Now, this is a powerful generative AI model. Like I mentioned, when it became a trend, some persons were like, what is this? Where is it coming from? But it did not just randomly come up. It has just always been there. But, once businesses started seeing the need, once individuals even started seeing the need, it became a trend. And then it now became a way for businesses, or a tool that businesses can now integrate, right? For things like content generation, for chatbots, for creative writing. Individuals also use that, right? You can use that personally for a lot of things. And the outcome in using, Chat GPT is it has saved time for content creation. It has also improved customer interaction, right? So you don't really need to have someone 24/7 on the clock responding to, the system and all of that. There is actually a tool you can use. So it just makes life very easy for everyone, for the businesses involved, for the customers involved as well. Another case study I can give us is, remember, this is not just specified to one, sector or one industry. Generative AI is being used across several industries. Now, for example, the engineering and manufacturing, you can actually use a tool called Autodesk, because it offers generative design tools that would actually help engineers and designers to optimize product design by using AI algorithm. So it's not really just ChatGPT that is a tool that you can use. There are others that you can use. And at Bincom, we actually help you do that. We just make sure that you are using the right tool, it's delivering the right result for you as well. So like I mentioned, we have a solution for implementation, for giving you a competitive edge, for making sure that you are at the top of your game and you're also getting the returns that you need. And that's Bincom IT Advisory. Otherwise, it's called Bincom IT Advisory, really. So it works in 3 steps. The only thing you need to do is to visit our website. It's bincom.net/advisory. You just need to book a session, with a consultant, and just get your whatever you need at the end of the day. So you get your power service and achieve your goals. So we have a list of consultants, and you can pick whomever you want. It's not limited to one industry. We have professionals across several industries. I would say all industries, really. And you can pick really anyone that you feel is best for you. So in a nutshell, what I would just say is generative AI is not just a technological advancement, right? It's actually a business enabler. It would empower you to transform your business. It would also help you adapt to changing markets and lead in an era of innovation. So it's not going anywhere. So it's not something that you'd be like, it's just a phase. It's not a phase. So you need to get on board. You need to understand that if you don't actually, adapt to the changing markets, you'll be left behind. So the potential is immense, and I really encourage everyone to embrace this transformative technology, so that you can unlock growth, you can drive innovation, and also position your organization and your business for a brighter future. So I still remain my humble self, Olivia Wami, and thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you, Miss Olivia Wami. Thank you. That was a good one. That was a nice one, and I'm sure everybody have learned a lot. All right, my name is Bade, and sorry, I had the network issues earlier. So, Miss Olivia, thank you. Really enjoyed the session, and I'm sure everybody here too have learned a thing or two about generative AI. We've learned how we can use that as a competitive advantage over our partners, over our competitors, and be a better organization. We've learned about how to be ethical about it. We've learned ways we can leverage them. We've learned about different Gen AI that we can use and how we can use them. And I'm sure a lot of us, we have questions, we have a lot of things lingering in our heart, we have some expectations coming to this webinar today. And from our first speaker, we've learned so much. So I'll just, I'll not allow questions now, but if you have questions, you can always drop them in the chat box. After now, we would have answers to them, or answer them. So also we have our second speaker available here. His name is Bade Adesemowo. And I'll just say a little brief about him before I bring him on board. And he's a co-founder at Social Lender. He has a background of engineering with over 20 years experience in technology, software, and basics of technology. He holds an MBA from Lagos Business School and is an alumnus of Nanyang Business School, Singapore. He's the man of the moment, and with hands clapping, you can drop your emojis, you can drop anything. I've got the Adesemowo to take us to the next school. Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you for the warm introduction. Just making sure you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Fantastic. And thank you for having me on this platform as well. Hello, everyone. And I believe that the first speaker, Olivia, has done a fantastic job already. And I think I'm just going to make a few points, just many of them lifting from our presentation, but some of them just points that I hope as business owners in the room, we are thinking about. As business owners in the room, we are paying attention to, because yes, a lot of things may be going on. We need to think about the bottom line. We need to think about staffing. We need to think about market opportunity. We need to think about all of that as business owners. But we should also be paying attention to the shifting landscape, to things that are changing, particularly in the technology space. Today, one of those major things is Gen AI and the use of AI generally. And sometimes we may think that some things are fad, some things will just go away, some things are just trending for a moment. And the truth is, yes, there were many things like that, but Gen AI is not one of those. Gen AI is like when we've had the internet and many companies and businesses had to adapt to the use of internet, what you can think of as Web 1.0. Yes, we operated businesses without internet back in the days. We did a lot of things without internet, but once we had the connectivity and the network that internet brought, it helped many things happen. It helps organization work outside of their local jurisdiction. It helped people get knowledge. It helped people to recruit quickly and so on. But that was even at the time when the internet was just around information only, Web 1.0 as we know it now. But then we went to Web 2.0, which was the collaborative web, the age of social media, the age where people were able to talk back to the website that they were interacting with, the age where people could like, comment, share, and so on. And we've been there for a while. And for us, there were many things that had to change in the landscape of businesses as well. People now realize that, oh, if I mess up, there will be a mob of people talking about my business, downgrading my ratings, and things like that. That world is the world we currently have to live in, coexist in, and operate businesses in. Businesses had to change the way they did things. Banks had to come up with social media policies around the use of social media, around the use of Web 2.0 as we know it at that time. Now we've got AI, and particularly generative AI. Now, the truth is that in terms of AI, data science, and so on, it is not new. What is new is the fact that a lot of this now has been democratized. What that means is that you can easily use the AI companion available to you today on this Zoom call. You can easily use the Microsoft Copilot if you are on the Microsoft stack. You can easily use the Google variant of it if you're on the Google Suite and Google Cloud stack, and so on. And you can go to ChatGPT to ask questions. You can use Leonardo.ai to deliver images, deliver graphics as you want it. You can use Canva to do graphics just by putting in prompts. There's now a new field called prompt engineering. And the idea of prompt engineering is the fact that people can decide to say, oh, this is what I'm asking the AI model to do for me. Based on what I'm asking the AI model to do for me, right? What's the best way for me to be able to ask the question? What's the best way for me to be able to put in the right prompt? What's the best way for me to get the best out of the prompt that I am asking this, out of whatever it is I'm asking the AI models to do for me? Prompt engineering is now a new field. Is now people may have to do masters in that field in the near future. That is the world we now live in. And there's a lot of excitement in the room, because what I'm just going to share is just, yes, let's talk about the exciting stuff. Then let's talk about the risk. And then let's talk about what you should do as a business owner, what your organization should be doing at this point in time. So yes, you can generate presentations now, pitch decks that you could have paid people millions to do or thousands of dollars to do. You can generate that in seconds now. Yes, if you needed to generate a website for a particular product, you can do that in seconds now. There are tools, multiple AI tools, not just one startup, multiple startups that would help you do that. Recently, a startup came up to say that you can actually build apps by just bringing your Figma designs into their app, builder.io, and they will generate an app for you, both iOS and Android app, with the programming language that you want it to generate in. So if you want it to generate in React Native or Swift or whatever language, you can do that now. Now, this is not future. This is not, it may be able to happen. We're in 2023, and we're saying that all of these things exist for you today as a business. All of this exists for you today as an organization. And then the question is that, would you make the best use of it? All of it is exciting, but then are you even paying attention? Why are we just hearing about many of these things now? It's because in 2022, ChatGPT was launched globally. Let me put it that way, because ChatGPT had actually existed for many years before then, but many of us did not pay attention. But then once it became a consumer product, many people could try it and many people saw the potential. And very rapidly, within a year, very rapidly, many organizations that had been working on stuff before had to fast track the launch of it. Organizations that were not sure, oh, is this thing what we want to put out there? They fast tracked. And so within 1 year, We are talking about thousands of different tools available to you to make your work easier, to make your work faster. We're talking about tools that will crunch numbers and give you trends in minutes. We are talking about tools that would look at MRIs and give down diagnoses that a trained doctor of many years may have missed, right? And we've seen stories like that in the news and all. We're talking about crunching thousands and millions of lines of data in seconds. We're talking about taking documents and coming up with a thesis, right? We're talking about several exciting things happening in the field of AI, but there are risks to this as well. And so in thinking about those exciting stuff, we want you to also think about the risk associated. AI doesn't come without its risk. One of those risks that I would want to mention immediately is that we call it generative AI for a reason. And one of those reasons, one of those things that happens with AI nowadays is that sometimes it generates things that look like fact, but they are actually bogus. There was a recent news, I believe it was just last week or so, about a lawyer that went to present a case, right? It was a case that he was trying to win in court. And if you're familiar with the legal profession, what happens is that you can argue based on case laws to say, based on this case that was judged positively and this or that case that was judged positively and so on, my client should also be judged in this certain way. And so the AI model, I mean, as at that time, it wasn't clear it was using AI, but the AI model then generated to the individual to say that these are 7 case laws that backs your claim. 7 case laws that backed your claim, right? And the lawyer actually went to present that in court, right? This is real life now, it's in the news, went to present it in court to say, based on this case and this case with this reference number and so on, presented it in court. Turned out later that 6 out of those 7 cases were bogus. They did not exist. The AI model had generated it for him based on the questions that had been asked. And if you use ChatGPT and some of these AI models as well, you will find that sometimes you are presented with facts, you are presented with things that seem like fact, but by the time you cross-check, you double-check and all of that, those things are not true. Sometimes what we're saying is that when you're using these solutions that are making your life easier, maybe you want to ensure that you are double-checking things. But this is part of the risk, because this is part of the risk that you should be thinking about. AI is also using people's intellectual property without permission. And it's fine for an individual, because hardly would anybody want to sue an individual for use of their intellectual property, right? Particularly if you are not making money from it. But then if you are an organization, you may want to pay attention. If you're an organization, you may want to pay attention to the question of whose intellectual property are you using? And do you have the permission to use the intellectual property? Nobody would say that, oh, what is in the middle is some sort of GenAI that did that and you didn't know. Ignorance is never an excuse in the face of the law. These are risks that you should be aware of. There's also the risk of bias that you should think about as well. AI models know what they are trained on. And there are models that can train on internal data. There are models that are trained on publicly available data, on open source data, on social media data, and several others. A lot of these models only know what they are trained on. And so if you are trained on the fact that the average person that uses my solution has a white skin, for example, what happens is that there is an unconscious bias in there to say that the next person that would use this solution would also be white. And in there may lie problems depending on your use case, depending on your organization. Legally, you are not allowed as an organization to discriminate based on many criteria. But then are you doing that without knowing, because of the tools that you're using and the way the tools that you're using has been created. There's also the whole idea of silos. The whole idea of silos to say there are multiple sides to a story, but because your silo is around a certain perspective of the story, the AI models could actually take you down a rabbit hole to say that, oh, whatever it is that you thought was true is still true, rather than helping you to see multiple sides of the story. Now, remember that there are different ways to mitigate some of these risks as well. Prompt engineering, like I mentioned, and so on, are some of the ways in which you can mitigate some of those risks. But the risks are there. So yes, AI is exciting, but it comes with its own risk. It's not something you can ignore. It's not something that will go away. We have moved forward as human beings. We've moved forward as a generation. We've moved forward to the next evolution. And these things are going very quickly. Many more things will come out. We're going to be working more in metaverse, and all of those other things will come out. There will be flying cars and all. But our focus today is, how do you reposition your organization based on the shifting landscape? If you don't take anything from my presentation, one thing I hope you remember is this: pay attention. Pay attention to the fact that AI has started and it is not going to stop. The AI revolution is here. It will not stop. Don't be like some of the companies of the past that died. And somebody said something, I believe it was the CEO of Kodak, to say, we did not do anything wrong, but we still lost. I think it was Nokia, actually. Don't let your organization be like that. Changes have occurred. It could have taken hours to generate a presentation. Now it takes seconds. It could have taken months to write a piece of software. Now it takes days. It could have taken years to get to a certain position. Now it takes weeks. That is the generation we're in. That is the evolution that we're in today. And so the last question I was going to answer is, what should you be doing now? And there are several things you should be doing now, but I will focus on one that I believe every organization should have at this point, which is an AI policy. And that's what I will focus on in rounding up this conversation. Countries should have AI policies, and many countries of the world are already building towards that. Different countries, in fact, our own dear country, Nigeria, is also building towards that. And several countries of the world already have different policies and so on that already exist. But we're focusing on your company and your organization. The key thing that you should focus on, one of them, is AI policy for your organization. And many things will stem out of that. So similar to how social media policies started stemming multiple things, what should we do with social media? How often should we do this? And so on. The similar thing will happen once your organization starts focusing on that, to say, we want to build an AI policy. We've got this policy, this policy, this policy, this policy, this policy. Now we are setting a deadline for us as an organization to come up with AI policy. It will help you look at the landscape. It will help you look at the tools. It will help you look at how can you use it for your own unique circumstance. And that should be one of the key focus and one of the takeaways from this. Now, what should my AI policy contain? What should I be thinking about when I'm talking about my AI policy? Now, don't forget that it is not yet a legal requirement, but I believe very soon it would become a legal requirement for every organization to have that policy. The same way non-discrimination policy is a legal requirement now, and several other policies are. I believe it will get to that point. But what I'm saying is that for your organization, you should be ahead of the curve, be at the cutting edge of this technology use by ensuring that you start quickly. In any case, the risk is already there, because you could give an analyst work to do today, and the analyst goes ahead to use GPT, and you don't know that the analyst used GPT. You present it to your client, they pass it through a AI detector, and they find out that you use GPT, and they've paid you millions to be able to do that work in the first place. You lose business, you lose credibility, you lose reputation. So in any case, it's not something where you can put a blind eye to it. It's not. It's already there. And so what should your AI policy contain? It needs to be around safe and effective use of AI. You need to specify that in whatever it means in your context. Your use of AI has to be safe and it has to be effective. You need to have discrimination protection, and you need to check the models that you are using as well. The models that you're using, does it have discrimination protection already in place? And in terms of the ways you're prompting, in terms of the ways you're using the models, does it also protect against discrimination? Privacy and explanation of use. In many countries of the world, one of the things that are coming, it's there already in many countries, but it's coming, is that if I'm talking to an AI model, you are required to let me know that I'm talking to an AI model. This already exists as regulation now in many parts of the world, and it's coming to all parts of the world as far as I'm concerned. If I come to your customer service portal and you've got an AI model before I talk to a real human being, you are required to let me know, to say, oh, you are talking to this bot at this moment, right? And I'm going to try to answer your question, but should I not be able to, then I'll pass you on to a human being that can then take it up from there. That is already being made a requirement in some cases, but not in all cases at this point. Privacy, you need to also start thinking around the use, around what kind of notices, what kind of data are you presenting, and will that data be used for further trainings as well? Many models can be used privately and can train within your private organization data, but that's something for you to think about. And then, of course, the human alternative fallback is something else to think about, to say, how would you be able to fall back should the AI model fail? Should the AI model fail because it generated bogus data, or should it fail because it couldn't just handle that? Because don't forget, and this is the last one I will mention in this part, is that it is learning every day. It is learning based on the data you present. So it's smart today to be smarter tomorrow. It will be much smarter next tomorrow as well. And those are things that you should be thinking about around building that policy itself. You need to ensure that you're being ethical around it. You need to ensure that you are not accidentally stealing other people's intellectual property. You may want to consider the question of, do you want to use it for some sensitive things like employment, for example? If you're interviewing people, yes, you can pass the script of the interview now into AI, and AI can tell you this person was the best speaker and all of those kind of things. But it's not really what you're looking for when you're looking for a culture fit in your organization. Those are things that you should be thinking about in terms of building these AI policy. You may also want to be clear on how you're using AI in your organization. You may want to be clear on how it is being used, how it is being presented, and so on. The key point I'm making, and I'm summarizing now, the key point I'm making is this: the AI revolution is here, is exciting, it's fantastic. It is saving us time, costs, efficiency, and so on. But there are inherent risks. Those risks have to be managed. You cannot say we will not use AI, full stop. That is not the response. It's not even possible for you to have that response, because the things in your control as the organization is minimal to what is in control to each individual in your organization. these things are now democratized. It's just available on the internet. Many of them are free. So you can't say we will not use AI. That's our solution. Instead, you must manage the risk. That's what you should focus on. And then I talked about what you should be doing. And the one I wanted to focus on today is build AI policy, because I believe in your action of doing so, you will be able to look at strategy, tactics, tools available, how we want to use it, how it works with our context, and so on. And that would take you to the next step, which is that once you then start implementing that policy, you would have to make sure it's a living document. As such, as things change, as the landscape change, you can continue updating that policy to ensure that your organization stays ahead of technology and also stays protected. I hope this was useful, and I hope there are questions as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, sir. Thank you so much for a lot of knowledge I've been found, and I was jotting on my phone, typing some things, and I have a lot of questions. I've learned new things. I've learned so much, like how to be proactive, how to manage, how you use AI. For example, I was talking with a friend of mine, and funny enough, someone sent a CV, and the person forgot to edit the part where ChatGPT will say, correct this and use for your own, or edit to fit what you want. So the person sent it for a job interview like that, and obviously the person will think I've this AI has done everything for me, but then the person was just discussing this and I was just laughing at it. Some persons can't even take time to even edit what AI actually done for them. So I know some of us, like, we're in that shoe and everything. So I have a question here, sir, and Olivia also. So, for example, now you own a company, for example, and one of your employees uses AI or use AI to do something and probably didn't fulfill it and everything. And you, as the business owner, probably are just getting to know about AI and you don't know about this thing. So how can you mitigate the risk of sending the result out and people now start saying, okay, this has been plagiarized, this has been copied from this, or this content is not real or something. So you, as the business owner or the one who had employed such a person, like, how can you, what measures can you put in place to actually curb this and to know what can be done?
So is that question for me or for Olivia?
Okay, I don't know. Anyone can answer.
All right, no problem. I'll take the question, and I guess maybe Olivia will take a stab as well. So what we're saying is that some of your processes as the organization will need to be upgraded. You may want to pass anything that goes out of your organization through AI checkers, because humans will be humans. Even if you say nobody should do that, people may still do stuff. So you may want to make sure that, and there are AI checkers today. There are quite a number of them. So if you go online, you will find many of them. So you may want to have it as part of your policy moving forward. And that's part of the reason why I said the key focus for you as an organization should start by building that policy, to say that just in case we may have that risk, to say we run a 100-man organization and any one person may end up doing something. Sometimes they are not being malicious. They just think, oh, I found a fast way of doing my work and make it faster. Something I will have spent a day doing, I will do it in an hour, and then I can go watch a series I'm trying to figure out and watch. So it may not be malicious intent, but it will become malicious action at the end of the day. What you want to do is make sure that you've got the checks and balance, you've got the control system to ensure that that will not get out to your clients. Make sure that that would also become a teachable moment for the organization. A teachable moment, not just for that individual rogue employee that did that, but for everybody else to say, these are the risks that we need to deal with today as an organization. But your role as the business owner, as a director in the organization, is to make sure those control systems are in place to ensure that those kind of things do not happen. And should it happen, then it becomes a teachable moment as well to say, what can we do better? Because we've got a framework, a policy that we're working with that helps us to protect ourselves.
All right, thank you, sir. That was well answered. Olivia, I don't know, do you want to add something or that's also fine?
Yes, just really to add to what was already said. You made mention that if the business owner really is not aware of something like generative AI really in existence, that's why we're saying it's very important for us as business owners to be at the forefront of emerging technologies, existing technologies. You need to know what is happening. You need to keep yourself informed, not just running a business and feel okay, yes, I'm comfortable where I am. I don't really need to improve and all of that. There is always something new. So you need to be aware of it, because that would actually help you, avoid things like lawsuits, things like copyright, just like mentioned as well.
All right, thank you. So please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. You can drop the chat box or something. If you have any question, you can do that. All right, okay, Mr. Ola. Okay, you can ask your question.
All right, good afternoon. So I have a question. Let's assume that I'm a owner of a company, a writing company, and yeah, I now know about ChatGPT. Would you advise me to literally, like you said, Ms. Olivia mentioned saving cost and time and other things. Would you advise me to literally stop getting writers and convert to editors, such that the editors literally just generate from ChatGPT, and then their main work is to actually edit? Since you said that there are literally tools to that actually check to know that a content was actually developed from AI too. So would you advise me to stop employing writers and actually bring in editors to do that work? Number two, I also think that this is a bit contradicting. The fact that you said that there are policies and some companies might not like the fact that you're copying from using AI to actually copy content. So don't you think now, as that owner of the company, don't you think it's still better for me to actually get a writer, since they will have to edit and do all these things more like maybe the same thing again? I don't know how long it's going to take them to do all the editing. Don't you think it's going to be better for me to still go to the same route? I mean, hearing this now, because I always think that AI just generates and then put in just content that they need. Now that we have the other side of people, thinking that using tools to also check if you are generating from AI and then they want fresh content, then we have a problem here. So what do you think about that, Mr. Bade and Ms. Olivia?
Okay, so let me just take the first question. As regards needing, still needing humans to do some tasks and still having, AI to do some tasks, it's first of all really dependent on your need. That's the first thing. But to answer your question, if it's a yes or no, I would say you should just entirely let go of all of your stuff and just start using, AI models. Reason being because you still need that human creativity. That's the first thing. And we're not going anywhere. Humans are not going anywhere, even if the machines are still, learning and all. So you still need to kind of find out what your business needs are, right? Yes, there are policies that would actually make mention of, tell us if this is AI generated and all. The reason is because they are going to be confidential information from time to time. There may actually be things that you are working on that you don't actually need on a AI model, because that AI learns every day, gets smarter every day. So you may not actually want to use a generative system to do that. You still need humans to do that for you. So you still need your employees to do that for you. But for other repetitive tasks, other things you can actually automate. You can just simply use an AI model for it. I don't know if that helps really.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe it does. And I'll just add to the answer just a little bit. And I would ask our audience to participate in this thought experiment. Imagine a 4-year-old genius that is a genius, as in can do math. If you say, what's the square root of a quadrillion, it can answer you in a moment, right? 4-year-old genius, understands English, can speak French and all of that. Would you let that 4-year-old genius do some routine task that you would let a 21-year-old do? Most likely not. Because even though that 4-year-old is a genius, you know that there are many things that 4-year-old does not know, and there are many things that 4-year-old cannot do. That's the same position that we are in today for GenAI and for AI generally. AI knows stuff, right? Because it's been trained on those things, but it still doesn't know many things. So pretty much AI is still very stupid to a large extent. We are far from the singularity. Singularity is a technical word, and what it means is at the point when machine intelligence is as good as human intelligence. That's what the singularity is called, right? We're far from it. How far, I don't know, but we are still very far from that singularity point, which is a point of no return, basically. If you watch it, if you watch sci-fis and so on, that's like a point of no return, basically, because at that point, machine is as intelligent as humans, right? We are far from it. But where we are today is that your competitors will use AI even if you refuse to. Your clients will use AI even if you refuse to. That's where we are today. And so your question was, are technical writers' role at risk? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that things that may have taken 1 week to write now takes 5 seconds to write. But is it going to be creative? Is it going to be thought through? Is it going to look at multiple angles and so on? Possibly, but possibly not. So you need to have a mix of both at this point. You would not say, oh, because this thing can have mistake, then maybe, no, I will never use it. But at the same time, you would not say that because this thing exists, then I have zero need for human beings. So I believe that where we are today is somewhere in the middle, not somewhere where get rid of totally or somewhere where don't use at all. Somewhere in the middle is where I would advise if I was advising you as a business owner. AI is stupid. Competition will use it even if you don't. So be able to figure out how that works for your organization. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I still have another question.
All right.
Do we have websites that we can actually get latest updates on AI, like new AIs that can actually help businesses?
Who is the question for? Me or
For anybody, sir. So you can give us an answer, sir.
The answer is yes. If you simply Google it, there are several websites. There are newsletters. I subscribe to some that tells you about different tools and all of that. Many tools are being generated every day. There's a site that I really like called Product Hunt. I think that's the name. Yeah, Product Hunt. And what it does is that on a daily basis, whoever is launching a product, they put it there, and then different people try it out. They vote for some of the ones that they really like and stuff like that. Yeah, but yes, there are several places where you can find that. Many organizations have lists like 100 AI tools that you should know about, 100 tools that have been launched this month, all of those kind of things. So there are several sites where you can pay attention. But then, of course, as a business owner, you may say, this is too much for me. And that's part of the reason why you would have coach consultants and so on, who can help your organization to say, oh, this is what's going on. They have stayed abreast of it, and they can help your organization make best use of technology. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So lastly, another question. Is it possible, this might not be totally related to business, but I think it's actually a bit related. Is it possible that we can have AI that maybe nice feature that can literally read, maybe not read emotions, or probably can feel like humans? Maybe this can actually help us our mental states when we are drained, probably when doing work, having an AI to talk to, maybe that can feel the emotion and you can interact with human being. Is it literally possible?
Yeah, it already exists. It's not even a question of if it's possible.
Wow.
It already exists. There was one that was shared. I'm trying to remember the name. It's called either Ask Lara or Ask. There's one that exists today. It's more of chat than anything else. There's video-based ones that exist today. And just think about multiple technology that exists today that you can put together at once. AI can detect emotion. So you can take a look at the video and detect emotion, can detect tone of voice, can detect what's going on in that video, can detect, is this person excited, is this person sad, and all of those kind of things. AI can do translation and summary of what's going on in video. AI can respond. You have Siri that talks to you, right? So there's already a lot that exists today, right? Is it perfect? No. Does it exist? Yes.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you. Please, I have one last question, sir. We're talking about what next after AI, like you need to set policies and do this thing. So I want to ask now, let's say I'm an organization and we want to like start employing AI. So the question now is what next? Once you have like data analysis now, let's say you already have data from AI, you've generated, you've done your quantitative analysis, you have the result and everything. So like what are we to run with? What is it like? You can just give us like maybe 1 or 2 to 3 steps that should come next after you have your information, like what are you to run with to be able to grow and upscale as an organization?
Olivia, do you want to take that?
So I think you should reframe the questions or try to rephrase it because I did not even understand.
Okay. What I'm saying is this now. Let's say for probably data-driven insights now, probably when you use the AI to get some data, probably about a competitor or something, you've seen what they are doing, you've seen how you can improve, and you want to like leverage or benchmark what they are doing, then introduce it to your own organization, like use of AI and all that thing. So after setting like a policy for AI, like what other things do you need to work together with to run so that you can also upscale and grow as an organization?
Okay. So we did, thank you for that, really. So we did mention that in the presentation, which is GenAI implementation. They're like, some of the things you can do is you have to prepare your data. You have to also choose the right, tool. You need to also train whoever is using it, train the platform as well, train the system as well, and also monitor and continuously, improve on it, even while, you're actually using or while you've implemented the policy in place. So that's really some of the ways that you can, still leverage Gen AI.
Thank you. I don't know if you want to add anything, sir. Hello, sir.
Sorry about that. I was struggling to unmute. I think that I'm probably just going to go back to exactly what I said already, which is first step, build AI policy. That helps you do many of the things that in terms of that will help with your next step in itself. And it gives you that next step in some sort of framework of what to use. So I think that's where I will go back to as well.
All right, thanks, sir. You actually said it when you were presenting. I just brought that back so that people can really get to understand better and be ready to work. Because like the knowledge is there already, it's just you running with it. That's like the next step, I think. So a lot of us have learned new things. I think by now generative AI should not be new to anybody here. And when your partners or other people, your computers are talking about something, you can also come out and say, okay, I know about this, I know how you guys do this, then you also can improve, because knowledge without putting it into work is not going to be useless. So I believe everybody have learned something, and probably next, when we'll be having this meeting again, most of us will come with testimony because, okay, I've tested this, it's working. Because there are practical examples of how to get this done. And also, it's good to have sections and webinars like this. And these are actually being brought to us by Bincom Dev Center. And right now, I would want us to like give Ola the opportunity to talk about Bincom Dev Center. We have like some 7 service arms, and it's going to like put us through, because it's a free webinar and it comes up every month. So obviously, we'll be happy and expectant to have you guys. But whether we like it or not, we need to still talk about Bincom ICT. Bincom ICT. So Ola, I don't know if you are ready.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you everyone that stayed to this time. Some were here and they left, probably to do something else, but really appreciate you as spending this time with us now. I really want to talk about the 7 harms, and before I talk about that, all these that you've heard from Miss Olivia and Mr. Bade, they're one of our experts in Bincom ICT, and they are good at what they do. And we also have different people from other fields that actually have a broad knowledge, a deep understanding where tech is concerned in recent days. So if you actually need help, you can always reach out to us through the our advisory services or service. We actually use that as an opportunity to explain to you some things, because we believe that business owners or probably decision makers in one company or the others are the people here. So you might need help in your IT before you even take any decision. You want to actually get the right information as to the things that you're supposed to do, or what particular IT structure you're supposed to implement, all right, for your own company. So you need to actually have better understanding, and that's what our IT advisory will actually do for you. We have a platform to where we can actually give you 20 minutes opportunity. I mean, just going to be free. And if you think that 20 minutes is not enough and you want to get more information or know more about ICT, or probably maybe the GenAI or anything where tech is concerned, you can actually book a session with us to just particular amount that is actually cost effective that you can actually afford. Okay, so later on, I'll probably, as I'm going to finish talking, I can actually just send the link to you here so that you can actually copy the link and reach out to us later. All right, so Bincom ICT is a firm based, like I said, ICT on technology, and we have 7 M's, and we are good at these 7 things, very, very good. Development and support. Whatever development you want to do or support you want to do, we give to you too in the best way. Our web services are actually top notch, and if you need help where your web is concerned, we can actually do the best for you. Okay, same thing for ICT service management. Whatever service that you give to us, we ensure that we give you the best service, right? We ensure that our customers are always getting the best. Okay, and we also have ICT products and services. We have some products that we actually have for you, just in case. I may also send the link of that to you too. Okay, so we have some of those products that we have already that you can actually buy from to get values, and also we can actually develop products with same thing as development and support to develop some products for you that is actually needful for your own business. Same thing for projects and investments. So it might be a project that you want to do and you don't know how to go about it. We actually can help you take control of that to ensure that your project is actually a success or your event actually is successful. Okay, so we are good at that. And by the way, you should also know that there are quite a number of tools that you can actually use for your project or for your event to be successful. You also need us to give you that information, a lot of information, and also probably you even want like we said, products that can actually help your project to be successful, customized for you. We actually help with that. Same thing for web services too. Probably you want to integrate not to integrate, we're talking about AI. You want to integrate a particular AI to your own website or your web app. We are good to go. We can actually help you to actually do that. And lastly, we have community and investment, and at the same time, we also have best use of technology, especially for, like I said, not understanding what to do where technology is concerned in these recent days. We can actually help you with that. Aside getting information, advice and consultation, right, we can help you to actually implement. We can help you maintain, and you are surely going to get the best offer from us, right? Okay, so that's basically the 7 arms of Bincom ICT solution, and we are hoping that you're going to patronize us. We're hoping that you're going to get the best information that you need from us. And like Yano said, this is a monthly webinar. We do that always often, and so that we can actually update you on technology trends around the world, have quality discussions, and hear quality information from our speakers. So I also want you to join us for another edition next month. Okay, at this point, I would like to give it back to Yano to take over from here. Thank you so much, Yano.
All right, thank you, Ola, for that. I'm sure we've learned a lot of things. So lastly, I posted something on the chat box. You can check it out. You can follow Bincom ICT on our social media platform. And for more information, you can visit the website. So lastly, in this webinar, I will be sharing my screen now and to actually talk to us about Bincom Dev Center. Because what I would like to know there, we've learned about trainings, we learned about different things, but we still need to know some things. And briefly, I'll just share it because as business owners, as person, you can always pick that which you need. So when I'm sorry. Okay, briefly, Bincom Dev Center. We have Bincom Academy, we have Bincom Tech Internship, we have Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, we have Bincom Community Events and Projects, we have Lightspace. Let me just be brief about that. Bincom Academy is just like a Montessori approach to training participants in basic skills and modern technology ecosystem. So you want to learn about technology, you want to move into technology, you have persons you want to train on your team, you can send them to Bincom Academy and they will learn the best use of technology from this. Bincom Tech Internship, an internship program like the internship, people that probably want to gain mastery or want to learn intermediate skills or something, just for a specific period of time, and they can join like the tech internship. Then apprenticeship also, on the job training, events and projects. We give back to the community. All I've made mentions of some community events and projects that we've done and that we're still open to do. And we have Lightspace to provide extra workspace for people. So you need light, you need a place to go and work. The Lightspace is available for you. We have global tech programs, and it's not global, it's just like 1 to 2 years program. Anybody from all over can join. You have people in the UK, in Canada, anywhere in the world. You have Bincom Global Tech Program for them. They have Immigrate. Now, Immigrate is just tech visa. So you want to travel out and you want to go through tech platform. Immigrate tech visa is for you. And Bincom Dev Center will put you through on how to get it done. So you can always reach out. We have a mentoring platform. You need a mentor, you need to grow, you need to get access to it. You can always reach out. Then last but Bincom, you want to have a startup, you want to have like experience before you start out your business, or you have a friend that is open to start out a business and probably don't know how to do about it. And you yourself might not be like the best person to explain this to them. Last but Bincom is available for them. Then we have Bincom Tech Career Coaching to learn your next tool, to be better at what you do. You can check out Bincom Tech Career Coaching. So now this is just the light space, for example. Sorry about that. Bincom Academy, like I've explained, intensive training, Montessori approach. This are the key. You can reach out for assistance or something. Bincom.net/academy, that's the link over there. I can also send it to most of us probably after the meeting alongside the summary of the meeting. You can get access to this, then you can make very good use of it. Use like the light space for some of our locations. We can see there. We have Bade, many more. Bincom events and project events. We have masterclass, meetup, idea sharing, challenge and brainstorm. We have our hackathon, we have our ICT career talk, we have career days, and many more. Meetups, we have master classes, idea sharing. I don't want to like go into so much detail, but as long as you can see it, and I've got like a link to the website for some of this stuff. I think I'm going to check them out. So this is the package that is going on. I'm from the tech talent, the training, full package, the course and everything. You can check more about these things from Bincom Global. This is like Bincom.net/global text. Integrate service. I know a lot of us, okay, you want to travel out, you don't know what to do, I want to go through the tech platform, you are confused. I know a lot of us probably are paid agents over some amount and you can't articulate where your money is going. So don't spend so much. It's free to talk to them. Just do your best. Reach out. That's the link over there. Reach out to them. They help you. And counseling and the first stage is free. Just to talk to get a better understanding. These are the services, the freemium and the premium. So whatever package you think you want, but I think it's always best to have like a one-on-one production program today. You know, this everything around me do. Love I think like I said, you want to build a startup, your friend wants to build a startup, you want your son, you want a colleague to be better what they do, you want to branch out as a company, you want to probably start something alongside the major company. You can always reach out to Love I think they'll give you like the things you need, the knowledge, the practical understanding, and the way you go to startup to be better than probably what you have emphasized already. And the learn. Then for more information, I'll just leave this for a while. So anyone else to copy the contact and do that, Bincom, the center, and the rest. So you can do that now. So yeah, that's the end. So to round it up, I want to like appreciate you guys. I want to appreciate everybody. Sorry for you. I want to appreciate everybody that took out their time to be here. I know a lot of us we are busy and are busy schedule things to learn, and I want to be well assured that we've learned a lot. You know what generative AI is now. We've learned practical knowledge. Like I said, when next we're having this, I'm sure a lot of us will come with testimonies on how they use generative AI and how well it has improved their business growth. I'm spending on Mr. Bade and Mrs. Olivia for the knowledge that is seeked out, because nobody else could have done as much as they've done, because they took out their time to give us practical examples, and we are saying thank you for honoring our invitation. And one of these days, again, we hope to call you to come and be speakers in one of our upcoming webinars again. For brand owners, SMEs, and business persons that joined, we want to say a very big thank you to you, and I'm sure you learned a lot beyond your expectations, and everything you've learned here, I'm sure it's going to help your business to grow. And like I told you earlier, I want to send like a summary of the meeting to you. If you want to see talk about anything, you want to reach out to us, you want to partner, want to know about our webinars and some other things we do, try to reach out via the website. I've just the link, the form of you can check it out. Then from there, you can always get in touch. You already have your contacts. When next we have in our webinar, we let you know, we send out the copy, send out the things, and we'll let you know those are speaking at our event. So thank you everyone for coming and great rest of your day. So we end the webinar here, but you can always see network, talk to one person or two before you go. You never know whether that will be your next business partner or your next contact to go in your organization. So thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. So about the same thing to Capitals, Sophia, Olivia.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.